Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a marvelous new box from Eloquence, Australia. Decca Eloquence, don't we just love them? I do. It's Herman Krebbers. Now, some of you may not know who Herman Krebbers was. For many years, he was the concertmaster of the Amsterdam Concertgebouw Orchestra, or the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra of Amsterdam, under Bernard Haitink for the most part. And he was just an amazing violinist, a fabulous concertmaster, and an incredible soloist who gave up his international solo career in order to have job security and play in an orchestra and stay home with his family. Good for him. And I just think it's delicious that these were released, because most of these recordings came out on Philips when Philips was a Dutch label, and so they were for the local market. And we didn't get to hear most of them, and it's a shame because he was really terrific. When we did hear him in the orchestra, he was absolutely splendid and graced several important recordings, which we will get to in a moment. This set has 15 CDs, and what we get on it, well, I'm just going to go through it and tell you what's here. All I can say is that for somebody who was relatively anonymous and not one of the big name soloists, he did two of the best recordings of the Beethoven and Brahms violin concertos ever. And everybody who's heard them agrees. I mean, I don't know anybody who has denied that fact. And because he was not a big name, his recordings tended not to be re-released all that much. You had to dig around to find them. And that was a shame. So this is important, especially if you love those works. So we've got, let's see, Paganini. Most of these recordings, by the way, are with the Concertgebouw, although some were from, let's see, I think it's the Hague Orchestra, the Residenti Orchestra, you know that thing? Let me see, who else was in here? Well, let's see. Hang on. Let's go through the booklet, and we'll do it that way. You can look at them. They're original jackets, by the way. Those wonderful, fabulous 50s, horrible-looking original jackets. It's great. Just great. Okay, so Paganini Violin Concerto No. 1 with the Vienna Symphony under Willem van Otterloo. And Otterloo is one of those conductors that people sort of collect, although he wasn't really all that great. But I mean, you know, he was a name that people collect. What can I tell you? He's accompanying well here. Vieuxtemps Violin Concerto No. 4 with the Residenti Orchestra. That was Otterloo's band. And here he is as a callow youth. There he is, looking callow and youthful. He was always a terrific violinist. The Bach Concerto for Two Violins with Theo Olaf, Violin 2, with Otterloo and his band. The two Beethoven Romances with those people. Actually, Romance No. 1 is Theo Olaf, No. 2 is Krebbers. But they're giving you the whole original album, which is really nice. Henk Bodding's Concerto for Two Violins and Orchestra. He did do some interesting Dutch people, which is lovely, and Symphony No. 3. So those are cool to have. Boddings is a good composer sometimes. I think I described him once as Hindemith without the tunes or something like that, but he's worth listening to. So you've got Krebbers and Olaf again with Otterloo and those people. Beethoven Violin Concerto, Krebbers and Otterloo. This is the earlier mono one. Like I said, you've got to hear the stereo Concertgebouw ones there, you know, because his relationship with the orchestra, you know, they just got along, and it's such fabulous integration between the soloist and the orchestra, perfectly gorgeous playing with infallible intonation, and all of that. The Sanctus from the Missa Solemnis in Joachim's Concertgebouw recording. That was nice of them, because he does the Preludium and the Preludium and the Benedictus from the Missa Solemnis, not the Sanctus. I got it mixed up. Viotti Concerto No. 22, the one that everybody does with Otterloo and those people. Johann Svensson's Romance with Otterloo and the Residenti. Cesson, Danse Macabre. Now we're into the Concertgebouw with Haitink and the Concertgebouw. He doesn't have much to do. He goes, you know, he does that. And then in a couple places there are little solos and all that, but they're cute. I always love to hear the Danse Macabre. The introduction, Rondo Capriccioso, back with the Residenti and Otterloo, and the Havanaise with the same crew. And then we've got the Bach Concerto for Two Violins with Arthur Grumio. Yay! and the soloist Romand under Arpad Geretsch or something like that. Erbarme dich from the St. Matthew Passion with Joachim. The Brahms Double Concerto with Krebbers and the cellist from the Concertgebouw, became the cellist for the Concertgebouw, he wasn't then. Tibor de Matula with the Netherlands Radio Philharmonic under Henk Spruit. The Brahms Violin Concerto and the Bruch Violin Concerto. We're not quite there yet, still. This is with Krebbers and the Brabants Orchestra under Hein Jordans. These were very local productions, but again, he was a great soloist. So when he remade these things, I mean, we shouldn't have been surprised, but no one knew the earlier ones. That's the thing. CD8, Mozart Violin Concerto number 4, with Krebbers and David Zinman with the Netherlands Chamber Orchestra, and Violin Concerto number 2. Brahms Violin Concerto, Concertgebouw, Haitink. Incredible performance. Absolutely great. If you don't know this Brahms Concerto, you really need to hear it. It's really, really great. The Beethoven, there it is. Unbelievable. And then the Mrs. Solemnis, the Sanctus Preludium and Benedictus with Bernstein, that recording. He's in there. And the Bruch Violin Concerto number 1. This is with the Frisk Orchestra under Libor Pesek. Back from, oh my goodness, when was this? 1973. Wow. I mean, did anybody ever see that who wasn't in the Netherlands? I doubt it. Dvorak Violin Concerto, very nice performance, a little bit sluggish in the finale, as non-Czech people tend to slow down a little bit there, but it's still very, very beautiful. The Tchaikovsky Souvenir d'un lieu cher. This is with the Amsterdam Philharmonic under Anton Curtius. The Bartók 44 duos. Who's he duoing with Theo Olaf, his duo partner. Mozart, the oboe, violin, viola, and cello quartet. And then the Adagio and Rondo in C minor. I love this, for glass harmonica, flute, oboe, viola, and cello. What a great piece that is. Amazing. And the quintet for oboe, violin, 2 violas, and cello with Heinz Holliger and Bruno Hoffmann and R.L. Nicolay and Krebbers and like all these famous people who just play beautifully. Scheherazade, Rimsky-K, yeah, with Kondrashin. He's Scheherazade, one of his great roles, you know, if you were a singer. Maurice Ravel, Tzigana. God, I hate that piece with Kondrashin. I mean, he plays it well, it's fine. Strauss's Don Juan with Haitink, and then Also sprach Zarathustra and Ein Heldenleben. And frankly, this is one of the great Ein Heldenlebens. Zarathustra's great too, but Ein Heldenleben's really great. Largely because of Krebbers and his portrayal of the girlfriend of the hero who makes that unbelievably annoying violin concerto movement in the middle of the piece tolerable. He's wonderful. So this is a terrific set to have. I'm thrilled that it was re-released, and I could only recommend it very strongly for all fans of splendid violin playing and musical collegiality. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.